we are going to be looking at graphing a linear equation. Okay, so if I'm asking you what is the graph of this equation, so yesterday we were just finding the slope and the y-intercept. Today we're going to be putting those things on the graph. Okay, so what is the graph of y equals 2x minus 1? Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to graph the y-intercept. Remember, that is where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, so we learned that equation yesterday, y equals mx plus b, and b was the constant, okay, that was all by itself. Okay, so if I'm looking for the y-intercept, in this case, it is going to be -1. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my graph, and on the y-axis, so this one right here that goes straight up and down, I'm going to put my point on -1. Any questions about graphing the y-intercept or knowing which number it is or anything like that? How to put that on the graph? Okay, so then we're going to use the slope, which will take us to a second point. So in y equals mx plus b, okay, the slope is the number that's in front of x. Okay, so in this case, m. Okay, in our equation here, our number in front of x is 2. Okay, so my slope here is 2. Okay, or 2 over 1. If it's a whole number, we're going to make it a fraction. Okay, so turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1. Okay, so we're going back to our y-intercept that we graphed, our -1. Okay, if my slope is 2 over 1, okay, we're going to move on our graph. We're going to go up 2 places because it's positive, and then right 1 place because, again, it's positive, and put a point there. Okay, we can do that as many times as we need to. Okay, I can go up 2 and right 1 again, up 2 and right 1 again, and I'll get several points that I can put on my line. Okay, my third step is to draw a line and connect these points. Okay, so when I draw my line, it goes through the points that I graph, and it gets arrows on it. Okay, now when you guys do this graphing on Math Excel, you only need 2 points for it to draw a line for you. Okay, and I'll show you on there again if you don't remember how to do the line situation. Okay, it's the same thing that we did before with the chart. Okay, so this is just another way to graph equations, just a little bit easier because you don't have to do any of the table information. Okay, you always start with the y-intercept, okay, and use the slope to take you to a second point. Okay, is there any questions about how we got anything on this graph? Okay. So let's look at y equals -3x plus 4. Okay, y equals -3x plus 4. So if I'm thinking like y equals mx plus b, okay, I'm first starting with the number that does not have a variable. That's my y-intercept right here. Okay, so in this case, +4. So on my y-axis, I'm going to go up to +4, and that's where it's going to cross. So I'm going to put a point right there. Okay, my slope is my number that's in front of x, so -3. Okay, I need it to be a fraction so I can do my rise over run, so it's going to be -3 over 1. Okay, so if it's a negative, that means that I'm moving down. So I'm going to go down 3 places, 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1 place, so it's going to put a point right here. Okay, again, I can do that as many times as I need to, 1, 2, 3 down, and 1 to the right. Okay, you'll see that those are in a line. If I connect those 3 points, it should make a straight line. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to have you guys try this next one. You're going to graph y equals 4x minus 6. You can just put it on your own piece of paper, okay, sketch it out, and see what would it look like if you had y equals 4x minus 6. so we're starting with the constant, the number that's by itself, so in this case, -6. Okay, we're going to go down to -6, and we're going to plot that point. Okay. Then our slope is 4. Okay, and if I don't have it as a number, 4/1, okay, we want it to be a fraction. Okay, so 4/1, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1, and that's going to give me a second point. I can do it as many times as I want to. 2, 3, 4/1, and that will tell me what my line looks like. Okay. Any questions about graphing those lines? Okay, now we're going to talk about what happens if our equation is not in the right format. Okay, so we always want it to look like y equals mx plus b. So you want to say y equals and then have everything else on the right side of the equation. So right now we have y plus 2 equals 5x minus 4. Okay, so the first thing that I want to make sure happens is instead of having y plus 2, I need to cancel out this plus 2. Okay, so in order to cancel out a plus 2, I would do minus 2, and I have to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to write it underneath that minus 4 because those are like terms. Okay, so those are going to cancel over here, and I just have y on the left side. I still have 5x. If I combine minus 4 and the minus 2, that's going to give me minus 6. Okay, so getting it into the correct format and then being able to graph it. Okay, so now at this point, it looks like y equals mx plus b. Okay, so my starting point here is going to be my constant number. So in this case, -6. That's going to be where I start. That's my y-intercept. And remember, we're always on the y-axis, not the x-axis, always the one that goes up and down. Okay, and then my slope is 5 or 5/1. Okay, so from my point I just graphed, I'm going to go up 5 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the right 1 place, so right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, do that again. And that's what my line looks like. Okay. Now, a good way to always check and make sure you have it graphed correctly is that uphill lines have positive slopes. So since this was a positive 5, my line should be going uphill, okay, like it was here. If I went back and looked at these two, okay, this second example with the slope of 4, that was positive, so it should be going up. This one had a slope of -3, so it should have been going down. Okay, so you can always double check and make sure you have the right information for that. Okay. Now, last one like this. Okay, as far as the solving goes, this might be a little new, so you want to pay attention here. Okay, I want to get y by itself. Right now I have 2x plus 3y equals -6. Okay, I need to get just y on the left side. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel out this 2x, and I'm going to put it over on the other side. So to cancel out that entire 2x, I'm going to subtract it off of there. And now it'll cancel. So now I'm left with 3y equals -6 and minus 2x. Okay. Then if I want to get rid of this 3 in front of y, right now I'm multiplying by 3. Okay. So I'm going to have to divide everything by 3. Here, here, and here. Everything has to stay balanced, so everything gets divided by 3. Okay. If I cancel that out, y equals, now -6/3, that's -2. -2x/3, that's just -2/3x, or -2/3x. Okay. Now, it is in reverse order here, so pay attention. Okay, the y-intercept is the one that does not have a variable with it, which in this case is -2. Okay, so if I go down to -2 on the y-axis, that's right here. Okay, now my slope is -2/3, so -2/+3. So I'm going to go down 2, and then +3 sends me to the right, 1, 2, 3. That's going to put it right there. I can do that again, down 2, to the right 3. Hopefully your line's a little straighter than mine. any questions on how to graph? Anything we're not sure about? Okay, so I'm going to go back to this first slide. If you did not have these steps written down, you're going to want to write those down. Okay, the 3 things that you're supposed to do. Okay, so first you graph the y-intercept. Second, you do the slope to get to a second point, and then you're going to draw your line. Okay. Now, the homework today that you're going to do is the second part on Math Excel. Okay, I am going to have you guys stay on here today until you are finished. Okay, so you need to be working on either last night's homework or tonight's homework. But we're not having enough people get stuff done for me to just let you sign off. Okay, so you need to go over to Math Excel. I'm going to be looking on Dino to see if you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, and go ahead and go get your homework opened up and get started. Okay, if you did not send me your name in the chat yet, okay, go ahead and send me your name in the chat. Okay, whenever you are finished, tell me that you're finished. I'll make sure that you're done, and then you can sign off. Okay,
Mrs. Clark, this is Hanky. Would you send Cameron down to my room?
I sure can.
All right. You're welcome to join also.
Okay. Okay, so everybody should be going to Math Excel, working on either last night's or tonight's homework.